can tell the difference. Today is that we're all in here. I ask your patience. It was something we debated whether we should spread the room out and have people out in the plant, but we felt it was more important that we be in the same room. I'm sure we'll hear about that afterwards. But in any event, I want to take this opportunity to open up the celebration and to thank you for giving me an excuse to have a celebration. I think that's what this day is really about, is not the promises of what we're going to do tomorrow, although there's plenty to do tomorrow, but what we have already done. The celebration of Zero Defect Day, or as we call it, the Quality Declaration Day, is a time at which we assess that we have reached a milestone in development of the quality process at our plant. And we have lots of evidence. I think the success stories that we have around are a good example of some of the things that we've all been involved with. So I want to really underscore the fact that this is something that we want to say thanks to you all for helping us embrace the change that will secure our future. We have some other people with us today. We have some partners from California. We have some partners from our supplier network. And we have some partners by video. And some of the videos are really, really interesting. I had a chance to look at a couple of those, and they're downright impressive. I would like to take an opportunity to introduce somebody who was on vacation and called up and said, "We're going to be in your area. Is it all right if I come by?" And of course I said yes. And that's Bob Carroll and his wife Bobby are up. He's the director of plant operations for the Homestead Hospital in Homestead, Florida. And some of you may remember that this plant and our company took a leadership role in helping that facility out during the hurricane. In a matter of 24 hours from the time that we got the call for help, Riverside authorized us to ship whatever units we had available to use as emergency housing. So I'm going to ask Bob Carroll to find his way up, if he can. Or is that not possible, Bob? Maybe if you just stand there, Bob, and I'll read the plaque, okay?
We appreciate all that you did for us after Andrew. You guys, got us through this. We appreciate it. That's right. That's why you're number one.
Okay, I'd like to need and helping us during our recovery from Hurricane Andrew, the employees of Homestead Hospital, Homestead, Florida. And there are some photos showing our 16 units parked right beside the hospital. And, early in that process, I thought that people were exaggerating when they said they couldn't open the hospital without these, but they really provided the housing for the people to come back into work. And that's what determined whether or not they could open. The hospital survived the hurricane, but there wasn't any place for the people to stay. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Stand up and say hi as I call your name out. Larry Hughes, Vice President, Travel Trailer Division. Where's Ron at? Tom Herman, Director of Materials, Travel Trailer Division. You wonder who's running the division, don't you? It's really Susan. Rick Harvey, Manager of Materials, Travel Trailer Division. Thank you. We have Ron Richardson, a special guest from Rialto. Suppliers who have taken an opportunity to be with us. Eric Hansen, is he here? Eric Hansen. Carriage Carpet. Jerry Finnegan, Senco. We know Jerry. I wonder if he's Irish. Bob Vanderhoff, Wesco. Hi, Bob. Rick Gelati, Wesco. Dave Ritchie. Hi, Dave. Thank you. Wesco. Snip Allison, BPC. I won't say it. I won't say it, Snip, but somebody over here said, would you stand up?
Thanks a lot.
Bill Keeney, BPC. And I haven't seen these gentlemen yet, but Tom Fecteau from Flex Steel, is he here? Just got here. Hi there. Welcome. Joe Bernstein, familiar face from Flex Steel. And of course, the most important guests here are you. So. Did Dan Fleming make it in? Dan Fleming did not make it in. Okay, Dan Fleming was the former Mayor Hancock, and he was here when we opened the plant, when we dedicated our first unit. You'll find in some of the history photos that his picture is in there. It's interesting that right in this exact period is our 25th anniversary, and it wasn't planned that way, but it's an absolute great coincidence. So congratulations to you all on 25 years. I would like to try to review the video that we had at Nashville, and before we get into some comments from several of our vendors, I wanted you to get a feel for how our dealers feel, not about the general things, because we certainly talk about that, but their relationship with us, and specifically how they feel about what you've been able to do with the product. So Phil and others helped us, and Jerry Sell, with some videos at Nashville. From the general manager from Alumax to come up and just share a few moments with us as to how the quality process relates to this facility and his facility, and then we'll have comments from Walter Page and Tony Herman. Lance?
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. My opening remarks were to say what an honor it was to be able to address the group. And an hour ago, and Frank told me there were going to be 400 people looking at me. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it. I thought it was going to be a nice, intimate group. But as I was sitting here looking and listening, I feel pretty comfortable to stand up here and tell you our story about Alumax and the relationship with Fleetwood. And all I can say is that it's been quite a journey. Back in, I'm going to say 1987, 86, 87, Fleetwood came to us and asked us to provide to them written specifications of what we were supplying them. We thought it was an outlandish request. In the 24 years that I've been doing business, 20 years, we never had anybody coming at us and ask for that type of information. We all knew what variables there were in supplying the product. We all knew, and the metal boys in this plant know what the variables were with the metal that was coming into your plant. So we went back to the plant and did some heavy thinking, and to some of you the word paradigm is a strange word, but it was one of the words that were used in the introduction of the quality process to us, and that is to get off your butt and your thinking and get something done. So we set about, and finally after about 6 months of hemming and hawing, we were able to set some specifications on the materials which were coming into the plant. And I can tell you we're very proud to have done that. Back then the concept of quality was nowhere near what it is today. Fleetwood has formalized the quality issue, the quality program, and from 1987 till now, prior to 1987 or 86 when we first got in the program, our variables that we have identified, I can say that within the specification that we have set today, because of the efforts of Fleetwood's requests, today I'm going to stick my neck way out and say that we are running 90% dead on our specification out of the Bloomsburg facility. If you take a look at the materials coming in prior to that time, we were probably running, that's probably about a 90% improvement, because every piece of metal coming in here had a variation. So with sheer determination and working with Fleetwood, who has no doubt made us a much better supplier, we also have a major marketing advantage going to other manufacturers in the marketplace. We know that we're better than they are, and the relationship we've had with Fleetwood was the driving force. So we're very proud, we're very happy, and we're buying into the quality program big time. So we're here today to rededicate our effort and our pledge to provide zero defect metal to this plant.
Thank you very much, Lance. I think the idea of 400 people was always a little impressive, but when you can get them all in this room, it is probably a trick. But I think we're going to have to expand the room the next time we have one of these events. Lance is perhaps understating a little bit the importance of the SBR, but they were selected because they were one of the early suppliers who embraced the idea of setting out the requirements. Now, I know to all of us who've been through a variety of training in the quality process, that seems like commonplace, but it wasn't then, and somebody has to start to change. And they were one of the early people who helped us start to change and participated whenever we asked them to. So thank you again, Lance. The next individual I'd like to come up and ask to share their comments with is Walter Page, president of Page Foam from, as they say in the area, Johnstown, PA. Walter is a second-generation partner, and he'll speak a little bit about that, but they have a special relationship with us in that we both helped each other develop in the quality process, and I won't steal any of Walter's thunder, but come on up, Walter.
Thanks, Frank. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Page Foam Cushion Products has been manufacturing every cushion, loose cushions, dinettes, gauchos, and the mattresses, bunk pads for you people ever since this plant opened. And my father was the one who started this business. When my dad started the business, his big thing was service, and we have lived by the service. We've tried to be here every time before that truck was empty. I know we haven't always been successful, but we keep working at it. From the quality standpoint, we're a very small company, and we're in the beginning stages of our own quality process, and we realize it's important. And not only for our customers, but for ourselves. So what I did today, and I had some of my people write down what they felt was important, and these are people, secretaries, and I won't read them all, and they're very short, but this is what they feel is important for quality that we send to you and every other customer that we have. Teamwork is an essential part for a quality partnership. Each company and division working together as one. Every step in the manufacturing process done with excellence and pride, from the first diagram to the finished product. Treat your business partner as a customer. Supply them with all materials needed to complete a product, appropriate lead time for the manufacturing, and correct information on the construction of each product. Every person doing their job correctly helps make the next job easier and better. Working together as a team gives you a quality product and a quality partnership. And one other one that I wanted to read. Being able to get an agreement in the materials to be used, getting them on time with enough time to build, stuff the cushion, or sew the product to the highest quality. Shipping is a very important role in this company. Being able to get the product out on the date appointed and delivered. The most important thing is to give them best quality for the cost of the product, to satisfy the customer and be pleased by getting the highest quality grade of materials will help keep Page and the customer happy. Now, we pride ourselves, I'm probably on the phone with Riverside, with Anna Marie all the time, verifying specs, because I know that people here are busy and they would, you know, I make the phone call and then call the plant here and they verify it. But we want to produce a product that Riverside says we should, and to meet their specifications and your specifications. And I make this promise that we will never, whether my son or daughter take over this company and we're still manufacturing the product for you, they won't change the way we do business. Thank you.
Art Wyatt, the Vice President of Marketing with Dometic, apparently got into some scalloped potatoes. For those of you who weren't here, we had a banquet and we had a number of people get sick on scalloped potatoes were served. That is not on the menu this morning. Art Wyatt apologized for his absence because he wanted to be here. I spoke with him in Nashville and he was looking forward to the opportunity. Tony Herman asked that he pass on the feelings of Dometic and their relationship to our plant. So if Tony Herman would come up here, I'd appreciate that. Tony is one of our regular partners. Tony, thank you.
I had a couple conversations with Art the last 2 days via our voicemail system, and I'll tell you, if it was the scalloped potatoes, I'm never going to touch them again, because Art is not a well person. And believe me, I've known Art for about the last 10, 15 years, and if Art Wyatt could be here, if any conceivable way he could be here, he would be here. Like I said, I'm a regular here. I'm down here every 3 weeks to a month. It's a valuable experience. I've been with representing Dometic for about 11 and a half years, and I'm very happy to say it's been a pleasant association. Art, like I say, I apologize for him. He's not a well person. He would love to have been here, but I just felt I would like to convey a couple items on Dometic's behalf. I'd like to congratulate all you associates on this, your day. I'd like to congratulate you on the quality product which you've been producing. I'd like to share Fleetwood's feeling, the importance of the associates' efforts so that both of us can maintain our position as leaders in our respective fields. Because like I say, without your efforts, we would not be where we are currently. I'd like to thank everybody for having me today. I know everybody's hungry, so I'll be brief. I'd like to thank you. Also would like to thank Fleetwood, Dick and his staff, and Larry for allowing us, the Dometic, the opportunity to be a partner of yours in the total production effort of your product. Thank you.
Many vendors who are our partners, and we count on strengthening that relationship, and we appreciate each of the three who've been selected, but we appreciate all of the vendors who are embracing the broadened understanding of requirements and how to make our products better so that we can capture more customers. I would like at this time to ask the individual from Riverside who has probably been most responsible for changing the way we think about the quality process, and to help us understand that as much as we wanted to do it before, we really didn't have it all put together until Jerry Hewitt joined our company as Vice President of Quality. His experience in the quality process is extensive. He's got oodles of successes to relate to, but he certainly has helped us understand what we didn't know about how to make the quality process work. And so I asked Jerry to share a few thoughts with us this morning. Jerry Hewitt, Vice President of Quality.
Better with a lens cap on. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
On behalf of all of us that are here from division and corporate, I want to congratulate you on the progress you've made. And do you do this every Friday? Well, gee, you might have more guests dropping in if that's the case. Although, I got to admit, yesterday there was a little bit of doubt as to whether I was going to get here. Even though my office is in California, I was in Florida. And I was flying up here from Jacksonville. I got to Baltimore just fine. Well, not quite just fine, because we were about 30 minutes late. And my connection was real close, but I run down to the other end of the airport, and there's nothing up about my flight at the gate. And so I thought, oh no, I just missed it. Well, it turned out I didn't just miss it, the plane wasn't there yet. So I had a chance to catch my breath, had a chance to write down some notes on what I wanted to say today. And I waited. And waited. And about an hour and a half later, the plane had arrived, but as they said, it had a mechanical. And so they worked on it a while. Then there's this whole group of people caucused. They got their heads together, and the one gal gets on the microphone and says, the plane isn't going to be able to fly tonight, so we've arranged for a bus to take you to Hagerstown. Well, this is already an hour after my plane was supposed to have arrived in Hagerstown, that we're leaving Baltimore. So we're parading like school kids up to the front of the terminal now to make sure none of us get lost. And the gate agent who's taking us to the front said, I always get to take people to the front to catch the bus. Which I guess was a clue that this wasn't the first time this had ever happened. We got to the bus, or where the bus was supposed to be, and she said, this is Tricia, by the way, she said, the bus has never been this late. Well, the bus gets there. We all load on the bus and we come charging up to Hagerstown. We get into Hagerstown and the bus driver says, does anyone know where the airport is? Fortunately, there's somebody who lived in Hagerstown who directed him to the airport. Now I'm worried, because this is about 11:30 last night. And I'm saying, I bet the last plane got into Hagerstown a long time ago. I wonder if there's anybody at the rental car counter. Well, there was. So I went up to check out my car. And this lady was taking a tremendous long time. And finally she apologized. And she says, I'm sorry I'm taking so long. This is the first night I've ever worked. So I say, well, okay, can you tell me how to get to my hotel? And she looked at the address and she said, oh yeah, you just get on 81 and go up, and she gave me an exit. She said, I think it's kind of, you get off and you go down and you go up behind. And I said, how about if we call them? She said, good idea. So she picked up the phone and she called the hotel and said, how do we get there? She got the directions. She said, boy, it's a good idea. Good thing you asked me to call, because I was sending you to entirely the wrong place. So at midnight when I checked in last night, I just had to laugh and say, these things happen in bunches. Some of you think about the glamour of travel, those of us that get to fly around from place to place. Unfortunately, this is what we get into from time to time. And they're all examples of not doing it right the first time. Well, all around this room are examples of where you have made progress at doing it right the first time. And you really ought to be congratulated on that. I want to just focus in on one of those items that's up there. It's one that you heard the dealers on the videotape talking about as they were holding their statue, and that's customer satisfaction. And this plant has made a lot of progress when it comes to customer satisfaction. When we started asking the customers how they feel, and just to refresh your memory, the way we measure your customer satisfaction is we call every retail customer 6 months after they bought their trailer. And we ask them, if you were in the market again, would you buy another Fleetwood? And they have to say yes or no. And we also asked them if they'd buy from the same dealer. And those are the dealers, they're getting their statues on that videotape that had very high customer satisfaction. Well, when those phone calls started from this plant, 87% of the people, 87 out of every 100 said, yes, I would buy another Fleetwood. 13 out of every 100 said, no, I wouldn't buy another Fleetwood. And what they're saying is, I didn't like the product that was built in Hancock, and based on that, I wouldn't buy any Fleetwood product. Well, you've made a lot of progress. Today, and for the last several months, you've averaged about 94 out of every 100 people saying, yes, I'd buy another Fleetwood based on my experience. And that's good, unless you're one of the 6 out of every 100 that said, no, I wouldn't buy another one based on my experience. Well, think about it. Last night in Jacksonville, I got on a U.S. Air 737. Do you think I was thinking about all of the safe flights they've had? Or maybe I was thinking about just one flight last week that turned into a tragedy. Well, customers have long memories. They think about those things. Customer satisfaction impacts you. I got a question for you. How many of you have won the lottery and you just work here for the fun of it?
Roast tomatoes on the side.
Oh. That's kind of what I thought. And so maybe job security is something that is of interest to you. You'd like to be able to go home at night saying, hey, this job is going to be there. I don't have to be worried about being out in the street next week. Well, in a lot of ways, customer satisfaction is what controls our destiny. Customer satisfaction is what gives us job security. See, customers are a funny group. How many of you have ever heard of an auto company called Numi Motors? Some of you may own a car that was built by Numi Motors. Numi Motors is a company in Fremont, California. It's jointly owned by General Motors and Toyota. And they make both General Motors cars with a Chevrolet name on them and Toyota cars. Matter of fact, they make exactly the same car. Goes down the same production line, made by the same people with the same parts. Which one do you think they sell the most of? The one with the Toyota label or the one with the Chevy label? Yeah, they sell more, and they're exactly the same. The only difference is people think that the Toyota is going to be better because of a reputation that they've got. And that's what we've got to build. We've got to build our reputation. On those videotapes you saw from the dealers, which are great, and conversations that I had with dealers in Nashville last week, the dealers all said the product is right. It's got the right features, it's got the right colors, it's got the right design, which means that they can sell it if they get an interested buyer on their lot. But people don't buy a travel trailer to park in their driveway, to show all their neighbors, show their relatives and friends. They buy it to use it. They want to go to the beach, they want to go to the river, they want to go to the mountains, they want to go hunting, they want to go fishing, they want to go on vacation. And when they get to their destination, the question in their mind is it going to work? The color all of a sudden isn't so important as much as, does it work? I had a dealer at Nashville tell me about one of their customers who was not satisfied. This dealer was really unhappy because he missed having 100% customer satisfaction by one customer. And this one customer had a problem. And when that customer got the telephone call and they said, no, I would never buy from that lying SOB again, he called the customer and said, what in the world did we do? And the customer said, well, don't you remember when I bought this trailer? It was one of the very first ones in the model year you sold. And we got in it, and there was a chip out of the dinette tabletop. Little chip right on the corner. Not very big. And you told me that you would replace that tabletop. And the dealer said, I remember that. I forgot. He said it was right beginning of the model year. I didn't even have a parts catalog yet. I meant to order it just as soon as possible, but I forgot. So he ordered it. He drove 150 miles, picked up the person's trailer, brought it back to his dealership, replaced the tabletop, put in $500 worth of options trying to make this customer happy. The customer's son came to pick up the trailer, and they were talking about it, and they said, oh yeah, my dad was really happy with his trailer when he started, but every time he got in it, he saw that chip in that tabletop. And he was aggravated, and he just got madder and madder and madder. And customers sometimes don't call, they just go away. And it's when the drawers stick, when the doors don't work, when the lights don't work, when the plumbing leaks, when the floors squeak. Any little things can cause a lot of aggravation to the customer. And when that camper gets someplace, when he takes his trailer and gets someplace and sits around a campground and is talking to other RV owners, they talk about their experiences. And they talk to each other about the problems that they have. It's really great when a customer gets there who doesn't have any problems, because then they're talking about the colors and the design and the features and how much they love their Fleetwood trailer. And I want to make an interesting observation to you. As I walk around this plant and I see some rework charts up, when I compare the things that you have to rework in the plant to the things that customers have problems with, a lot of times they're the same thing. And what that means is if you have a lot of rework to do on a coach, there's a real good chance that that's a coach that's going to have warranty problems later on. And if you have a lot of electrical problems on a coach, they'll probably have electrical problems. And the answer for all of us is to do it right the first time. If we can get things done right the first time, your job gets easier all day long, your efficiency is higher, your bonus is higher, the customer is happy, and the customer comes back as well as telling other people about our product. I want to finish up with a story I heard in Nashville last week. So there's some of you here that have heard this, and maybe some of you heard it before, but I kind of really think it fits. This was a story about a couple who live out in the mountains of West Virginia. And this couple was out there one Saturday, and they'd just finished up breakfast. And Ma looks over at Pa and says, Pa, I want you to fix the outhouse today. And Pa says, what's wrong? She says, well, you just get out there. You'll see. You fix it. So Pa goes out to the outhouse. He looks around. He doesn't see anything. But he takes a hammer and a nail, and he beats this nail into the side of the outhouse, makes a little noise, so he figures that it'd sound like he did something. And he comes back and goes about his business for the day. Well, a couple hours later, Ma comes around again, and she says, I thought I told you to fix the outhouse. Now, you get out there and fix it, or I'm going to bash your face in. Well, that got his attention, so he went back out the outhouse, and this time he put some new tar paper on the roof. He put some new siding on it. He cleaned the cobwebs out of the half moon. And just to be sure that he wasn't missing anything, he took his flashlight and he was looking down in the hole to check, make sure everything was okay. And about this time, Ma comes out and she comes up behind him and she says, well, have you fixed it yet? And she startled him. And he pulled up, caught his beard in a little crack in the board there, and said, ouch, that hurts. And she says, aggravating, isn't it? They didn't get it in Nashville as fast as you did. I don't know. But what that means is, if we got to solve problems, we got to get down to the root cause, and we got to eliminate that. And all of you have aggravations out here every day. And from now on, what I'd like you to think about is every time you have some rework, every time you have something that didn't go right the first time, think of it as an aggravation. and say, let's get something done about it. Do it yourself. Fix it if you can. Find the root cause, eliminate it. Write a CAR if you need to. The managers are waiting to help you get those problems solved. Together we can make more improvement. We can even improve further. We can improve our processes. We can improve our products, and we can remove these aggravations. Thank you.
If you would go ahead out and start the line. Hold on a second. We forgot to say grace. Chester?
Our Heavenly Father, we're very grateful for this opportunity at this time to give thanks for all the blessings of life and for our health and our families, our loved ones, for the ability to work and to make a living. Help us all to strive to have good attitudes of life and strive to be better and improve our life. We pray at this time that Thou will be with us all. Bless us. Bless the food for nourish for our bodies. And forgive us for our many sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Charles Jacob got a fourth and back, right?
And he was very instrumental in bringing industry into Hancock, and he has stayed active in the business community in a variety of capacities, and we asked for him to come up and join us. So Dan, if you would find your way up here, I'd appreciate that. Jerry Sell, I'd like him to come up. And then we're going to ask for some special insight from Peggy and Willie. But that'll be in just a few minutes. Dan Fleming, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Frank, for inviting me up today. I'm sorry that I was late, but at any rate, I'm here now. So what my thoughts might be today would be in the way of appreciation to Fleetwood Enterprises and to the employees of Fleetwood. I recall 25 years ago when we first met the management from Riverside, California, and how we desperately tried to entice them to come to Hancock. And one of the things I think that we impressed upon them most was the fact that they would find here hardworking people that would give them a day's work for $1. And I think over the years that's held true, thanks to you people who have made that promise come true. Fleetwood at that time indicated they might employ 100 people, and I recall breaking the champagne, how proud I was over the first trailer that come through the line. And I thought, what a great thing Fleetwood will be for Hancock, having no idea that they would grow to the extent they have, 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever the amount of additions, and 400 employees. And I think that a lot of that credit, I'm sure, goes to the employees, to you people that are here today. You've demonstrated what we had promised to Fleetwood to be true, that you give a great day's work for a great day's pay. It's the marriage between Fleetwood and this community has been tremendous. The economic impact of this plant on this community has unquestionably brought a better way of life to the people of the community and to you people and to your families. And so we need to say how grateful, on behalf of the community, I want you to know, Fleetwood and to the employees, how grateful all of us are for this plant. Without it, we would be just a wee bit lesser in our economic way of life. This has been a great impact on the community, and we are completely grateful to the people of Fleetwood, and I just hope to goodness that you'll be here for another 25 years, Frank. Thank you.
I hope we'll be here for another 25 years, but I don't know whether or not you'll put up with me that long, so you might be somebody else here, but Thank you very much, Dan. Jerry Sell, are you around? Jerry Sell? Jerry Sell? Hey, Willie, can you wait for Jerry for a couple minutes? Telling me to try to work.
Retail days of the Harrisburg show have happened, and there's really a trend. If any of you have been to the Harrisburg show, you know the main entrance you come in, so at Prowler and then the motorhomes all the way around, and there's a real trend of the retail customers coming in, looking over our product. We talk to them, we say hi to them, and do a little bit of feature and benefit selling, and they walk away because it's a huge show. There's thousands of RVs here from every major and minor manufacturer, and I'm always competing with a dummy. Don't tell my wife I said that, though. But what happens about 5-6 hours later, the same people we talked to are back. And they're coming up and they're saying, you know, we've been through all the trailers in this show, and the ones in this room by far are the best built trailers we've seen. Let's talk turkey. So, you know, the work that you guys are doing is definitely going to turn into a number of retails. I think it's going to be real good for all of us. And without further ado, I guess it's time to go from one dummy to another. Here's Willie and company.
Finally got my turn. Frank is so long-winded. Now, I can pick on him, but don't you try it. It's called job security. I'd like to start right off by singing a song and dedicating it to you, the associates that made this Quality Declaration Day. Hit it. Hit it. Where's your band? They're hiding out in the Prowler. Your band is? You see me there? Well, anybody hear that at all? Rewind it, Willie. I'd like to thank Ed Earls for this great tape player. You need it loud. He could screw up the two-car funeral, couldn't he? Hey, look us over, come check us out. We're Fleetwood Hancock, that's why we can shout. We're a Fleetwood family, we're number one. No matter what size RV you need, we can fit your fun. You will be up in 95, first in line. We've got the product right for the time. We've got customer satisfaction, that's why we're number one. And look out, world, here we come. Can anybody hear the music? No. Singing a cappella. Hi, darling. No, I'm not looking at you, buddy. He winked at me. I just wanted to congratulate you. Not that everybody here today hasn't, but congratulate you on being number one. And sing the song again for you. Hit it. Hey, look us over, come check us out. We're Fleetwood Hancock, that's why we can shout. We're the Fleetwood family, we're number one. No matter what size RV you need, we can get it done. You will be up to 95, first in line. We've got the product right for the time. We've got customer satisfaction, that's why we're number one. And look out, world! Hear it shout, world! Hey, look out! World, here we come! Thank you. You can sit down now, Frank. He thought it was his turn to come back up here. And he thought we had half a day off, didn't we? It's punishment. It's supposed to be a fun day, and Frank's up here bending your ear. Willie, quit picking on Frank. I wanted to say it's good to be here. I almost didn't make it. What happened? I flew in from Vegas, and it was a pretty interesting flight. What was it? I was sitting next to a guy who lost his wife out in Vegas, He lost his wife in Vegas in a poker game. How did he lose his wife in a poker game? That's what I asked him. He said it wasn't easy. He said, do you know how hard it is to fold with 4 aces? Hey, buddy, right here in the front row with a paisley tie, a cute one. Could you do me a favor, bud? Could you pick up that balloon nest thing, whatever that is, with the nice flag? Could you move it? Just put it on the floor. Yeah, now I can see more girls. I'm a lot smarter than Frank, too. Oh, hi, Frank. I asked Frank the other day, I said, do you know what one hot dog said to the other hot dog? He said, no, what, Willie? I said, hi, Frank. You're not getting paid at all. That was our quality for you, Frank. Anyway, I'm just glad to be here. Frank put me in a nice little roach coach motel down the street. Hi, darling. Need to move? You want to come up here? Sit on my lap? Do you like splinters? Willie? Tell me about the motel that Frank put you in. I don't want to talk about it, but I was waiting for my limo and come to find out he didn't have that either. Frank didn't pick you up in a limo? No, he said he was gonna. And I was patiently waiting at the motel. Jeez. And no one showed up. It was getting a little late, you know, and I wanted to get here. So this one gal came up in a pickup truck and she was towing a brand new 1995 Savannah. She was? Yep. And she rolled down her window and she looked at me and she said, come on in. So what'd you do? I got in, I know dummy. And then what happened? Well, then she started driving down the road, driving over towards West Virginia, and I said, wait a minute, I gotta go to Hancock. Well, she parked the car and she held out her arms and looked over at me and she said, you can have anything you want. So what'd you do? I took the Savannah. How do you think I got here? Anyway, now that I'm here, I wanted to talk to some of my friends that I've worked with in the past. You've worked here before? Yep. I didn't know that. I was doing a solo. Oh. I was working on my buddy. Your buddy? You know Buddy Stotler? No. Where are you, bud? How's it going, bud? Fine until now, huh? You know, one winter I was working here and my buddy Bud was going home from work one night, he told me. He was driving his pick-em-up truck. He has the dog in the window that goes like this. The gunny rack in the back. He was driving down Route 70, you know, and it was snowing and blowing and cars were going off the road left and right. He came along this one car and he pulled over and he got out of this pick-em-up truck and went over to the window and there was a gal in there and he said, you know, you're the 3rd pregnant lady I've pulled out of the ditch tonight. She looked up and she said, I beg your pardon, I'm not pregnant. He said, you're not out of the ditch yet. Did y'all hear about Phil Newseer? What happened with Phil? He went to the doctor's last week, and I was talking to him. He had a physical. Yeah? And the doctor gave him his physical and gave him a report at the end, and Phil was telling me he's all depressed. Why was Phil depressed? He said, you know, Willie, I got my physical, and the doctor told me I got to take a pill a day for the rest of my life. I said, oh, Phil, don't be depressed. I said, a lot of people take medicine every day. That's no big deal. He said, yeah, but the doctor only gave me 6 pills. I was talking to Jerry Sell, and he was telling me about his wife winning the lottery. Speaking of lottery tickets that we're gonna get after the show. What's this weird stuff? I'm an employee today.
Oh, you are?
Just today. You only work half a day, you get prizes, get food, get to go home and get the whole day pay. I just signed up. Anyway, my buddy Jerry saw his wife call him up and said, honey, I won the lottery. Pack your clothes. He said, summer or winter? She said, both. I want you out of there in 30 minutes. I was talking to Frank a little bit before the show started. He finally quieted down. He did. I was telling him about my family tree. He's telling me about his. And I was telling him about my dad being a beech tree. Makes me a son on the beach. He was telling me about his mom and dad, too.
What'd he tell you?
He said his family is in the iron and steel business.
Well, that's a very noble business.
Not really. He said his mother used to do iron and his father used to steal.
Said you weren't going to tell.
Just want to tell you about your family tree. I was talking to my buddy Ed Earl. How many of you know Ed?
Oh, yeah.
He's about my height, maybe a little taller. And Ed was telling me he came to work today. Before he came to work, he started out a terrible day.
What happened?
Well, he woke up and the alarm clock was ringing and he went to shut it off and fell off right on the floor.
Did?
Then he went to button his shirt, you know, he was getting dressed and the button fell off. And then he said he went to pick up his briefcase and the handle fell off. He told me he was a little bit afraid to go to the men's room. I was wondering if I could call upon a few of my friends I'd gotten to meet here and have them help me out with something.
Who's that, Willie?
Well, I want to talk to Betty Johnson. Where'd she go? Betty, come on down, darling. Patty Slisher, come on, Patty. That's it, take your time. We got all day and we're not working. Tracy Myers. Come on down, Tracy, you're the next contestant on... Oh, wrong show. That's it, let them through, Frank. Hi, Patty. How you doing? How you doing, Betty? No, stand right over here. Right over there so everybody can see you. In a line, right down front. That's good. How you doing, Tracy? Are you nervous, Tracy?
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. You want to hold my hand?
No.
Okay. I'm using the sandpaper. You won't get any splinters. Now, I'd like to get my buddy Joel Rice up here. Come on, Joel. Somebody take that camera from him. Got something stuck in his ear. Maybe it's a Q-tip. How about Jeff McCarty? Come on, Jeffy. Stand right up, right there. Stay there, Jeff. No, Jeff, back up, boy, back up. And then, of course, Mark. Dom, where's Mark? Come on down, Mark. I like that beard you got, Mark. I've always liked that beard. Looks a little like King Kong's armpit, don't it? Let him through. He's like the hairlit dog. Says, Mark, Mark. How you doing? Good. We need to get Joel over here. Joel? I know you like the ladies, but come over here and stand next to Mark. Now you got Jeff up here. Hi, Jeff. Do you get enough to eat?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. All right. What we're going to do now is have a contest between the guys and the girls. Can you handle that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, what I want you to do is, Patty, could you hand those hats right there behind you? Nope. Get that off your head. You can't dress him up and you can't take him anywhere. So, that black one's 9. Yeah, we're gonna get countrified since we're so close. Whoa! Does that mean there's turn lights in the building? Let me out of here. Now put one on your head, Patty. Put one on your head. Jeff, you can't wait to put a hat on. You wear a hat a lot, don't you? Don't put my hat on, Jeff. Jeff, I said don't. Read her lips. Give that boy a hat. Put that one on. Oh, so now he gives that one away. Pass him out. I want everybody to have the hat on their head here. Jeff wants to wear a hat because he's slightly getting a receding hairline there, yeah. You're not bald yet, but...
You're getting there.
Yeah.
I think it's my wife doing that to me.
Your wife's doing it?
Yeah.
Shading your hair at night? Anyway, now that we got all the girls and the guys up here, we're going to have that contest now. We're going to have the girls every time they look at you, say, yeehaw! And all the girls in the audience, I want you to say, yeehaw. Ready? I'm looking at you. Every time I look at you. Yeah. I think Betty's got it. Now the other 2 girls and all the girls in the audience, ready? Yeah. That's good. Now look over here.
Can I ask you a question?
Whose show is this, Jeff? What do you want, Jeff?
Do we have a horse to ride?
You have a horse to ride?
Yeah.
I don't think you had a horse when you started out. But we're going to get a donkey in here and then ride your ass out of here. No, really. Now, Jeff, pay attention and don't ask any more questions. What division do you work in?
Huh?
Forget it. Every time I look at Jeff and the guys, I want you guys to say, aha. Ready?
Ah.
It's the Three Stooges.
We did better than the girls.
Are you talking again, Jeff?
Yeah, we did better than the girls.
You think you did?
Yeah, we said hee-haw.
I'm going to put you over with the girls in a minute here. Now stand there and be good. Act like a man. All right. Now every time I look at the girls are going to go, yeah. Every time I look at the guys,
Ah.
let's get going here. Let the contest begin. Only when I look at them. Are you ready, guys? Not yet. Wait for the music. Ready, girls? Music. I said music. Jeff, you've been playing on this thing? Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the tree, younger than the mountain, flowing like the breeze. Country road, take me home to that place and the dummy? I mean, Jeff and the guy? Or do you think the girls won? What do you have to say about it, Jeff?
I think we won.
I want to know who's making him talk. How about just putting your hats down here, giving them both a big round of applause, both sides, the girls and the guys. Thank you. Shoot. I didn't think Jeff was ever going to sit down or shut up. Nice. Be nice to Jeff. Anyway, I think they did a good job. I figured... Jeff, you still yakking? I think they were supposed to send you home years ago.
They should have.
I was out there tooling around the plant earlier. I don't know how many of you saw me walking around checking things out. And I was helping Jerry Hewitt with quality, checking it all out. I heard these two guys talking. One guy said to the other guy, you know, my wife is an angel. The other guy said, you're lucky, mine's still alive. Yeah, I was talking to Bruce. Where's Bruce at? There he is. I was talking to Bruce. He said, you know, my wife's cooking is so bad. He said the only good thing about it is it broke the dog from begging at the table. I was talking to Joyce, too. Do you know Joyce? No. Joyce, she's our accountant here. Where's Joyce? She's still... Oh, there you are. Hi, Joyce. You got the money, honey. I got the time. I'm just kidding. Joyce and I go way back.
You do?
We're good friends. I came to see her last week, and she wasn't here at work. They said she was down at the doctor's office. So I went to downtown Hancock, went to the doctor's where she was at, and I was sitting in the waiting room, patiently not being a patient. And all of a sudden, Joyce comes out of there just a screaming and a hollering out the doctor's room. Woo! She ran right by me and out the door. I said, hey, Doc, what's the matter with Joyce? He said I told her she was pregnant. I said, now, Justin, I know better than that. She couldn't be pregnant. He said, she's not, but it sure did cure her hiccups. You know, I was talking to Frank, and I was over at Frank's Basics house.
You were?
His grandkids are over there. They're so cute. One little grandson, he's about my age. I was chatting with him, you know, and I heard him talking to his grandpa, Frank. He said, Grandpa, make a noise like a frog. Frank said, now, what do you want me to do that for? I don't know what a frog says. He said, yes, you do. He says, I do not. He said, yes, you do. I heard Grandma talking to the neighbor lady, and she said, when you croak, she's going to Florida. Where's Dorothea? Where'd she go? Dorothea. You know Dorothea?
No, I don't.
She's here someplace. Oh, hi, Dorothea. She was telling me about this parrot that was given to her.
A parrot?
Yep. She didn't know what to do with it. See, this friend of hers was moving out of the country. Couldn't take the parrot with her, so she adopted it. And it was a little female parrot, Dorothea said. The only problem is every time anybody would come near her cage, especially a man, she'd say, hello there, big boy, let me show you the time.
The parrot?
Not Dorothea. Anybody would walk up to the cage, the parrot would say, hello there, big boy, let me show you the time. Somebody would walk by, hello there, big boy, let me show you the time. Finally, Dorothea got sick and tired of hearing this all day, and everybody come near, so it was embarrassing. Anybody walk up, hello there, big boy, let me show you the time. So she went down to the local pet shop and took the parrot with her, and she talked to the owner. She said, sir, I was given this little female parrot, and I can't do a thing with her. The only thing she says is, hello there, big boy, let me show you the time. He said, I might be able to help you out. I'm babysitting for these two male parrots for the local priest here in town, and all they do all day long is say prayers. Maybe if we put her in with them, some goodness will rub off. Dorothea said, I'll try anything. So they take the little female parrot and they put her in the cage with the two male parrots that belong to the local priest. Hey, there it goes again. I guess my time is up. Frank, couldn't you be a little bit more discreet about telling me to get the hell off the stage? Where are those buzzers when he was up here? Really? Hell of a way to ruin my joke, no, Willie.
What happened with Dorothea's parrot?
Well, the pet shop owner said, why don't we put her in live there and let some goodness rub off?
We heard that part.
Then why are you repeating yourself? So they put the little female parrot in with the two male parrots that belonged to the priest. And she said, hello there, big boy, let me show you a good time. Well, one male parrot looked at the other parrot and said, hey, George, drop your rosary beads. Our prayers have been answered. I guess before that buzzer goes off again, I want to bring my buddy Wilbur up here for a minute. Come on down, Wilbur!
He thinks he's a living legend.
What?
He thinks he's a living legend.
Well, some of you're doing.
Hi, Wilbur.
Man, Carl Reed told me that.
How's it going, Wilbur?
I'm doing great.
I didn't bring you up here to embarrass you. I wanted to bring you up here to have some fun. Because I think you're the smartest one here. Here's my buddy Wilbur and Willie.
Wilbur and Willie, I got it.
Then, too, because I travel around, did you know they call me the Wood of Fleetwood?
I'm the living legend.
And you're the living legend. I'll buy that if you'll buy in the Wood of Fleetwood. Hey, Wilbur, don't go away, buddy. Nice shorts you got out there. Are those your legs or are you riding a chicken? Hey, Wilbur, all I wanted you to do is I wanted to sing one more song for my friends here and tell them some of the places that I've been with. You see, you guys put out those Prowlers and Wilderness and Savannah, and I'm out there selling them with Ed Earls. Well, they're out there selling, and I travel around the country, and I just thought I'd tell them where I've been.
Well, where have you been, Willie?
Well, I'm going to have Wilbur help me. You see, I've been everywhere.
You've been everywhere?
Like a living legend.
Willie, where have you been?
Well, Wilbur, what I want you to do to help me to explain to everybody, because I know they don't buy this, that I've been everywhere, but I have, Wilbur. And I want you to put your hands up in the air, I'm going to look at you. Go ahead, Wilbur. Now, Wilbur. Both hands, Wilbur. Both hands. That's it. Every time I look at you, Wilbur, you take better direction than Jeff does. What are you laughing at? Okay, Wilbur, when I look at you, I want you to say man. M-A-N, man.
Man.
Now put your hands up in the air and say man. You got it, yay! I think he's got it.
Now, what do you want him to do?
I want you to be their leader, Wilbur. Every time I look at you, Wilbur's going to put your hands up in the air and say man, and you folks are going to say man. Ready?
Man. Man.
Don't be so energetic about it, Wilbur. Now, when he puts his hands up, I want to hear you say man. I'm going to tell him where I've been.
Where have you been?
Hit it.
Get your band going here.
Ready, Wilbur? Not yet, Wilbur.
Man.
That's it. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Across the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Travel, I've done my share. I've been everywhere. Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Manitowoc, Long Island, desert there, not that side. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on the share. I've been everywhere. You're doing good, Wilbur. Don't give up on me now. Just keep that energy flowing, Wilbur. Help him out. He's been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Cross the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on my share. I've been everywhere. Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, on the Dick, Shuffleville, Jacksonville, Lauderdale, Coast Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Dexter, Shreveport, Hackensack, Cadillac, Madillac, Davenport, Idaho, Jellicoe, Argentina, Donatina, Pasadena, Catalina. See what I mean? I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Cross the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on my share. I've been everywhere. Wilbur, don't you like that part? You want to take my part and I'll do the man part? He's a living legend. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Cross the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on my share. I've been everywhere. Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Gothenburg, Colorado, Ellsburg, Rexburg, Vicksburg, Ottawa, Laramore, Adamore, Havershire, Chattanooga, Nebraska, Nebraska, Alaska, Opelika, there, Blue Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, Dodge City, what a city. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Cross the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on my share. I've been everywhere. This time I want you folks to really help me put your hands up when Wilbur does so we can see how dumb he looks up here. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Cross the desert there. Breathe the mountain air. Tread light on my share. I've been everywhere. Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Windsor, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Tennessee, Manitoba, Tonga, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Emerald, Tuckerville, Barracuda, Devil, he's a killer. He's been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Travel, we done our share. Breathe on mountain air. Tread light on my share. We've been everywhere, right, Wilbur? Tread light on my share. We've been everywhere. I think I lost you, Wilbur. How about a hand for Wilbur, the living legend?
Kind of stole the show there. Willie? Willie, you forgot your hat. Oh, I can wear it. It doesn't fit. My head's too big. Thank you very much, Peggy and Willie. A great job. Wilbur and all the other helpers, thank you very much. I want to go over a couple of things, and most importantly, I'm going to ask the chairperson of the Zero Defect Day Committee, alias the Quality Declaration Day, Ed Earls, to close up the program because he really took the lead early on in this year and decided to put this together, and he had lots of help on the committee. Phil Nusier, there you go, Phil, thank you. John Roush, thank you. Wanda Reeder, where's Wanda? She's outside. Bill Charlton, where's Bill? Hi, Bill, thank you. Kevin Malone, where's Kevin? There's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Thank you. These people and a lot of other people really worked a great deal to pull this together. The video credits, I really hope that you get a chance to look at some of those videos again. Bill Charlton, Phil Nusier, Buzz Miller, Polly Reed, Joel Rice, Jerry Sell, Linda Silvers. And we certainly can't pass this moment without saying thanks to all the vendors who sent in some very, very nice presents, and we very much appreciate their gifts. And I'd like Larry to certainly know that we appreciate Fleetwood's support for this program. The lunch coolers are going to work out very nice for us and be something we can remember over the years, so thank you. I've been instructed by Wanda, and one thing you learn fairly early on is that you don't mess up the instructions with Wanda. So I've been instructed by Wanda to do this because if you look under your seat, there's some signs under the chairs that relate to some kind of prize. So that's probably going to be a little challenging. Okay, the seats with the smiley faces receive the balloon bouquet. the change order?
I did.
Whoever has the change order gets the floral bouquet.
It's right on it. It's floral centerpiece.
Okay, and it says right on it what you're supposed to do with it.
Take it home with you.
Take it home with you, the floral bouquet, not what you do with the paper. Okay, and a couple other things. As you go out after Ed's comments, the cake has been cut. We invite you to have some cake on your way out. There is a cooler for every single person here. And then we ask you to just visit around, take a look at the place, take a look at some of the trailers that maybe you didn't have to look at earlier. But right now, I'd like to ask Ed to come up and close up our program. Ed Earls.
Right. We got a clock out?
You do not have to clock out.
No.
Thank you, Frank. And of course, I would like to add my thanks to what we've accomplished over the years here. As most of you are aware, I've been here a few years, and you start looking at the trailers outside, you really get an impression of the things that have changed over the years. I came here in 1971, and having spent my whole career here with Fleetwood, I've certainly have seen the progress not only in units, but in attitude. And folks, that's the main thing that we're going to sustain us because of. There's a book called the NADA book. You pick it up, 2/3 of the manufacturers are not in it. They're out of business. 1/3 of them are out of business for quality. The other 1/3, economic reasons, whatever. But when you hear us talk about quality, the most important thing you'll ever realize is quality of attitude. Now, looking at the units outside, when Larry Hughes and I were here in 1971, where's Larry Shoemaker? Larry Shoemaker, where you at? How in the world did we get a green product off in 1971? Were we building gold ones? Who inspected that? Larry Hughes inspected that, huh? Well, one of us is colorblind, that's for sure. They were gold back then. Remember? Well, probably you don't remember them, but they were gold. Yeah, you would remember them, right? Anyway, that's been color changed out there. I thought it'd be a pretty good joke there, but what the heck. But really, what we're trying to accomplish today, what we have to deal with sales with 160 dealers, we try to keep our customers happy. We try to keep them happy through delivering a competitive product, a quality product. But as you look around the room here, you see the success stories. We've got 32 of them up, but that's only a drop in the bucket. The biggest success you're going to find in the Quality Declaration Day is your commitment to making it better. There's one quality story I was really impressed with. We've got one back there on the slide outs. Remember the slide outs? Having trouble with leaks? $1,300, $1,300, $1,700 for one repair. Company committed to adding a $31 cover to the outside to prevent stuff like that. We're committed through the company. All of us are associates. I encourage you through John, your production assistants, Billy, myself, whatever we can do. Because, hey, we're a team here. We're running good. You know we had an excellent show at Nashville. We're going to continue to grow. We're outpacing the market right now. We're outpacing the market because of our attitude. Dealers say something wrong, we come back and we try to fix it. But I encourage you to help us. Whatever we can do, let us know. I do thank you for your effort, and I'm representing their 160-some dealers. I'm representing all of our DSMs and whatever. We appreciate it. We'll do better. Frank?
Pull off a porta potty, is that right? How did I luck out with that? Oh, okay. In other words, I couldn't hold it, so we got a porta potty. Is that right? The porta potty? Oh, that's been given away already. Oh. The winner of the porta potty is gone. Okay. All right. We need to pick another winner for the porta potty. I mean, you talk about finishing up a show on I don't know how you describe that. No, I think Ed ought to pull this one out.
I'm afraid to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. She might. And the winner is... Hey, Ellen, all right. You know, the best thing I can say right now is that the program is over. And I really appreciate working with you all, and I'm very pleased. We'll figure something else out, but meantime, I very much appreciate what you've done to get to this day. If you go out this way, there is some cake out there, and then I think our line is set up to receive the coolers. Is that where we have them? Just outside? No, the champagne is not here. That's later. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.